We're live, Mr. Wade. Good night, Belizeans at home and abroad. This is the Belizean Affairs Show number 428. 428. We're grateful for your presence, those of you who will be listening to us live tonight, and also those who will be listening later on when you get home from work, or maybe tomorrow or some other day at your convenience. We hope that whatever we have to present to you tonight may accrue some pub, uh, public positive public benefit to you as an individual and to our country as a whole. Our chairman is not in yet. He might be in the background loading up something that he probably want to present us. And that being the case, because we're running a few minutes late, we have Mr. Wade with us, who is our next senior panelist. And my name is Leonard Brackett. Of course, I'll fill in tonight. Well, when the chairman is not in, we alternate the deputy chairmanship between myself and Mr. Wade. So I'm going to go ahead and be the temporary chairman for now. And I'm going to go ahead and bow my head and say a short prayer because of the time that's running already. And then after that, I'll ask Mr. Wade to please grace us with a reading from the scripture. I'll bow my head. Divine loving Father, as we come before your presence once more, we continue to implore that thou would continue to have mercy upon us, undeserving sinners. We pray that thou mayest continue to bless us, give us health, courage, strength, perseverance, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, and a little bit of fortitude to be able to speak truth to power when need be. We also pray that thou would bless our family members, our children, grandchildren, great grandchildren, our brothers, sisters, cousins, uncles, aunts, our significant others, and our friends and others, loving Father, as if they are all mentioned by name and number. You know our hearts, our desires, even our most secret thoughts. Please continue to abide with us and bless this program as we present it tonight. May it be to the benefit of our people and country of Belize. We pray that God has blessed this country of the United States, its people and leadership, that God bless our country of Belize, its people and leadership, and the rest of humanity, each and every one of them, wherever they are, especially those people who are in harm's way and are in war zones and tornado areas and volcano areas and flooding and all manner of pestilence and disaster on the face of this earth. Please be merciful unto us. We pray for us, mercy in Jesus' name. Amen. I yield my.
Amen. Amen.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for that warm prayer there, Leonard. Yeah.
You're welcome. Sir.
Country in the whole the world needs prayer. Thank you. Uh, Mr. Chairman, I'll do a reading from a letter of James. James, chapter 1. And it reads, James, a servant of God and of the Lord Jesus Christ,
Amen.
to the 12 tribes in the dispersions, greeting. Let's count it all joy, my brothers, when you meet trials of various kinds. For you know that the testing of your faith produces steadfastness, and let steadfastness have its full effect, that you may be perfect and complete, lacking in nothing. If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask God, who gives generously to all without reproach,
Amen.
and it will be given him. But let him ask in faith, with no doubting. For the one who doubts is like a wave of the sea that is driven and tossed by the wind. For that person must not suppose that he will receive anything from the Lord. He is a double minded man, unstable in all his ways. Let the lowly brother boast in his exaltation, and the rich in his humiliation, because, like a flower of the grass, he will pass away. For the sun rises with its scorching heat and withers the grass. Its flowers falls, and its beauty perishes. So also will the rich man fade away in the midst of his pursuits.
Amen.
That's my reading there, Mr. Chairman,
Thank
from
you very much.
James
So we
1 to
it's a,
10.
it's a nice reading, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
An easy going one for today. Uh,
Huh.
I don't see our chairman yet, so I guess we'll have to go into our improvisation mode until he shows up, and hopefully we'll turn it over to him at that point. Um, okay, so let me see if I can pull up something here that will serve the improvisation purpose. I need to go to store cards. Okay, let me see, just a minute. I won't use that one. Do something a bit more. Uh-oh. This is the one I want, but I can't pull it up from there, so I gotta find it somewhere else. It's just the way it is, I guess. Let's see how far the I need to go. Mhm. Okay, I thought I was gonna be able to pull it up close by there, but I guess I gotta go to a different location. Okay, Mr. Wade, do you think we should do one with Mr. Enriquez and Logan temporarily until the chairman shows up?
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, let's try that one then. It's not too long, but I mean, it'll give us a little chance to afford the chairman a little extra time. Okay, so on March 24th of this year, I penned a small little article here, uh, and it says the following comments were made by Leonard Brackett to Mr. Jeremy A. Enriquez on Mr. Enriquez and lawyer senior counsel Mr. Anand Ramlogan's successful appeal to the Caribbean Court of Justice, CCJ. And I titled the article Enriquez and Ramlogan Caribbean Court of Justice Vindication. Uh, I'll do a little bit of the reading, Mr. Wade, and then I'll ask for your personal perspective or comment in regards to what I read, sir, if you don't mind. I know that you're pretty much familiar with this particular subject matter, which is why I asked if I could use it tonight, just in case the chairman delays a little more than we can expect, and so we can have something lucid and cogent to present to the public, and something that is of current importance. So I went on to say, Mr. Jeremy A. Enriquez, congratulations and thanks to you and your team, my dear esteemed learned patriot, icon, venerable brother, and vanguard of Belize. Of course, he's all of that and then some more. I also went on to say to him, on your persistence and dedicated, successful effort at the Caribbean Court of Justice to gain vindication as an advocate for yourself and our Belizean people and our rule of law, democracy, and the preeminence of Belize Constitution and our country patrimony, Belize. I went on to say to Mr. Jeremy Enriquez, I predicted and expected such results or outcome during our Belizean Affairs show because of the local Belize Supreme Court, High Court, and Appellate Court failure to vindicate and abide and rule by the prescripts of Belize Constitution. The Belize Constitution is the supreme law of Belize. Part 1, Section 2, Subsection 1. And I'll read that after a while. I just want to close out the, um, the rest of the statement that I made. God's continuous blessings on you and rest of family always, my dear esteemed learned brother. Mr. Jeremy Enriquez went on to say, thank you very much, Mr. Leonard Brackett. Your kind compliments are encouraging. The struggle continues. And then I closed out by telling him, you're welcome, my brother. And that was the end of that particular commentary. But I just want to read what I cited, which was, um, just a second, please. Let me get my device so I can pull up. Where is it? Okay, right here. I just read Section 2 of the Constitution. I can repeat it by ad verbatim, but I'd rather read it directly out the electronic copy of the Constitution that I have here. So instead of just mouthing it off, just let me I'm pulling it up right now, and we're at part 1, and I need to get to part 1. Let me turn it sideways so you can enlarge it a little bit. Mhm. Okay, there we go. So I just cited just now the Constitution of Belize, Part 1, Section 2, and Subsection 1, and it reads as follows. This Constitution is the supreme law of Belize, and if any other law is inconsistent with this Constitution, that other law shall, to the extent of its inconsistency, be void. And you may recall that whenever I read this part of the Constitution, I usually emphasize other law. That is to say, not the Constitution itself, which we're reading from, but other law referring to other substantive laws that the legislature makes, or rules and regulations, or SIs, or departmental procedures, or managerial guidelines. None of those trump the Constitution, because we know that an SI cannot trump the Constitution or any management guidelines or departmental rules and regulations. They all have to abide to the constitutional prescription requirements, and as a result, which is why sometimes they are ruled as null and void, because that's what the Constitution says. Um, I would like to yield to you, Mr. Wade. The chairman is not available yet, so I'd like to yield to ask a comment of yours on this particular subject matter of Mr. Ram Logan and Mr. Enriquez, as well as yourself and others who were battling this matter and took this matter to court on three different occasions. Are you, sir?
Thank you. Thank you there, Mr. Chairman.
You're, you're welcome, sir.
That you are prescribing there is the what came back from the CCJ, after exhausting the courts here, the lower and the upper here, and as per Mr. Enriquez, no?
Yes, sir.
Um, you cited the date that, they sat on it and they gave him an answer, right? First of all, that situation there arises with Mr. Ramlogan, the attorney for Mr. Enriquez, and his group that had, took the government to court for the uh, delay of the stay of the last election. Was the last election, right?
Yes, sir.
Um, so you, public knowledge, the hurdle he went through and where it ended up um, with this particular judge, Mr. What's his name? Um, but anyway, the judge that sat on his
Honduras.
case,
Just
Honduras, yeah.
so, and
They also publicly
sir, prior to Judge Honduras sitting on your case, we also had
after, yeah,
previously we had Judge Navy who sat on the previous case to yours,
yeah.
and that's what they got. That's why they got into trouble.
So what you're dealing with you're dealing with the Enriquez the one, right? Yeah, that's what you're talking about, right?
Uh,
And
I
what's
was
what you
hoping,
read, your response
yes,
to
yes,
him
sir.
and back and forth, right? So
Yes, but I was hoping that because you had experience dealing with it as one of the litigants, that you will be able to amplify or contribute your own vantage point. No, so I wasn't restricting you just to what
yes,
I read. I'm sorry
yes,
about that.
yes,
That
yes,
impression you
yes,
read too. No,
yes. We saw how that had transpired, and publicly the public statement by Mr. Enrique's attorney. That's the guy
Mr. Ram Logan.
uh, Courtney, right? His public display, right, as per the outcome of that case, and what he said that, and in my humble opinion, he didn't have to say the things that he says about Mr. Ramlogan.
Yes, sir.
But that's another situation. I think that Mr. Ramlogan, will deal with it in the way he sees fit in terms of the words from Mr. Courtney.
I wish you'd sue them.
So, we see, so now we came back to the High Court to fix. So, let's see what Mr. Honduras will do. And again, I think Mr. Enriquez is asking that Honduras does not sit on this case, right? He doesn't. I don't think he wants anything to do with Mr. Honduras, the Judge Honduras.
Because he's self-impeached. He lied on the stand on the docket.
Yeah, we see how that played off. Now, I took in a different form the Belize peace movement as a claimant, the government to court for redistricting, malapportionment, redistricting as per the Constitution. Honduras did the same thing to me,
Mm-hmm.
along with the very smart man, Mr. Courtney. He
Smart man.
bamboozled when I went to court.
Shyster.
What he did, he put aside my actual claim, what I'm claiming,
Mm-hmm.
And he came up with a different scenario that I had no right to come back to the court with the same thing, because this matter was heard, and he bamboozles the court again. And the same thing happened with the Honduras guy, right? He made a mockery out of my case,
Mm-hmm.
right? So we went to the High Court, the CCJ, and we are awaiting the um the response. So that's where we at with my case, 7:30 of 2024. But what? Why? Why did we had to do this? Well, we have been malapportionment for many years now, Leonard. Many
Mm-hmm.
years,
Mm-hmm.
and people keep going to the polls, repetitiously without the Constitution being honored, because the Constitution is saying that we should have equal or near as equal representation. It's not me, Rudy Wade, is saying that. No, the Constitution is saying that. So, you know, um, I can't see why we had was to go that far, right? In my personal and humble opinion, that past and present government should have fixed this already. But because of their political mischief, right, and you know, uh, the malapportionment in the constituencies across Belize, and the way it profits the political party
Mm-hmm.
in gaining their seats. Like for instance, we see that, like for instance, Mesopotamia, we see is a great injustice to the Belizean people in terms of representation. Great injustice. But the UDP like it, and the PUP like it, right? So they see nothing wrong with that. So they say to hell with the Constitution. Then you have others like Fort George, where the Musa's guys are, the two Musa, right?
Mm-hmm.
In my humble opinion, need fixing. On other constituencies that has 13, 14,000, while these small little constituencies with 5, 4, 2, 3,000 voters, it's not equal. So I think that the CCJ had no problem in sending Mr. Enrique's case back, right? Hopefully that you know my case will go back or heard by the CCJ
The
without
same,
going back. That's
because
my
the same
right.
principle involved.
Same principle involved,
Yes,
right?
sir.
So that's something I'm looking forward to, right? Um, Hopefully it happens, Leonard. Before, go ahead.
Uh, on the point that you was speaking up just now before you changed, um, it will be necessary in order for your stuff to be heard. The current judge will not just take it up and try to clarify it and make a final ruling of it, because what they are trying to do right now is to let that die a natural death and for it to pass to expire on its own. Then basically that's why they are stalling and holding back. and they know that the CCJ has commanded them to review take a look at the case and rule correctly according to law, which they didn't do before, you should have the right and the opportunity to have your lawyer um, make a request, because it's going to have to it's going to involve some paperwork. Okay, but the law, the highest court in our system has already ruled that Mr. Romlogan is entitled to a review of that case, and because your case is the same as his, you know, yours, you have to make an application. Your lawyer needs to make a documentary application to the courts in the context of that higher court ruling. And so just keep that in the back of your head.
No, they
I didn't want
my
to put you.
attorneys, the attorneys on our case, they are on it every step of the way and
Good,
just
good.
waiting, right? Every step of the way. So, you know, my thing is that, see how these people go to court and they lie, right? And they twist the truth. Because my
Mhm.
case, you know, myself, the peace movement last case, not the one prior with
Uh-huh.
Judge
Maybe
Navy, right?
for
They are trying to this guy Courtney is trying to say that I was part of that suit, that claimant. I was one of the claimant in that, and that whole thing was rubbed against, throwing it towards the court that I was part of that. So how dare I come back with the same thing, right? So that's to show you the evil in these guys. They pushed away that, I wasn't a part of that. I wasn't a part of the last, the first filing. I wasn't,
and the record should
right?
reflect that. The
And the
record,
record should have, exactly.
the judge shouldn't have gotten bamboozled so easily with that kind of
That's
nonsense.
what I'm saying. The guy Honduras, I don't know if he was coach or whatever, whatever, and they had their scenario, well planned out, right? And that's how that played out in the courtroom, right in front of my eyes, right? Played out right there in the Supreme Court, right?
So,
So
so yet you were not a party or a part of the previous thing, because your name did not appear on that original. I think it was 7 or 8 people's name. Your name was not involved there, and on your case, you were the primary person on your case. Even if they want to take off some of the other people, then your case still stands. You're the primary.
exactly,
So
and
there's no.
I have that God-given right. I'm Leonard, right? Don't I have that God-given right? How dare Mr. Courtney can tell me that what I can and cannot do, right? Who the hell he think he is, right? So that's how that played out, and the court sided with him, right? Him and representing the government, right? But it's sad to see how these guys you know uh do not honor the Constitution. Leonard. They do things to suit them and how they want to do it, and
Mhm.
to hell with how the public thinks about it. They don't really care, right? And then they use the same taxpayers' dollars to fight these very same people, right? Same taxpayer dollars pay these attorneys, because I'm pretty sure Mr. Courtney had reaped nicely, and he still is reaping nicely from the taxpayers, you know. So, and for what, right? For what? In 2012, Leonard, I could remember the attorney, Mr. Edmund Marshallek,
Mhm.
when the PUP was in opposition, and the UDP was the government of the day. He went on national, publicly, national TV and says, well, the UDP need to do redistricting, right? And because it's necessary and it's long overdue and it's easy to do, and he don't know why they are dragging their feet, right, to do redistricting, because that issue came up. Um, so like I said, the PUP was in opposition. 2019, the PUP was in government, and they say they will do it. 2012, now we went to 2019, and the same Mr. Courtney says redistricting is has to be done. It's way overdue and it's necessary. And the People's United Party will do it. That's and he says in 2020, if they had won the election, they won the election, and here we are, 2026, right? That makes sense. Then you hear the Briseño guy. No, yeah, well, by the end of 2026, we will do it this year. Oh, and it's very expensive, and all the babies that he's having doing it. So let's see how that will play out if he's still around on the face of this earth, if I'm still around
Oh,
on the face of this earth.
I see the chairman
Oh,
and
you
the.
have the chair and
Go ahead. Go ahead. I need a few minutes. Go ahead.
so yes,
Close out the gaps.
so we'll see again. There are two lies already. So let's see if by 2026, we'll call him a liar again, right? So all I'm saying, is that I personally would like to see it done before the next election is held in Belize. That's what I would like to see happen because it's long and way overdue. People need equal representation. And the Constitution is telling them that they should do it. So who am I to argue on that? But these learned guys and leaders, they are arguing on that they should not do it, right? And they don't want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So that is where they have the people and nation at this moment in terms of redistricting and in terms of the way they are handling our constitution. And I welcome
Thank you
Mr.
very much. So,
Gregory Morrison.
Good evening,
Nice,
gentlemen.
sir.
good evening, Mr. Morrison. I
Good
see the
evening,
chairman
sir.
is in the background as well too. So we may not go further than what uh,
Wade.
Mr. Webb was verbalizing. We're going to restrict ourselves. We're going to turn the show over to you and restrict ourselves to just having you have some comments on what we were talking about before the chairman is ready. I guess he might be ready in a short order. So in the interest of having you, I don't know how much of what you were saying you had heard. I was acting as the
I'm
chairman.
familiar with the issue of redistricting that we've been
Give us,
talking about.
could you quickly then give us a synopsis of your thoughts on the matter? And so by the time the chairman pops in, we can, because this, I don't know that this would have been his topic. We were just trying to fill in the dead end or the dead ear. I yield, sir, quickly.
Okay, thank you, and good evening to our listeners across the breadth of this whole globe. It seems because I'm here in the diaspora, and we are focusing on the diaspora and the audience in Belize. Um, it is a real issue, and Mr. Wade gave a good narration of the history of the prolonging and procrastination in doing what is constitutionally required, what makes sense, and what is just fair fairness to the people of Belize and to the country, and abidance and compliance with the Constitution is to have as much as possible an equal representation of the citizens through the constituency division so that we could have fairness in terms of how funds are allocated and how the presence of the people are appreciated and responded to. And so we have not had that for a very long time, and probably forever to some degree. But certainly not in the last 20 years or so have we had a sort of a sort of a balance that we would say this represents a degree of fairness to the citizens. And so I hope that, like Mr. Wade was saying, that they do recognize this and that they do it with some expediency and some um, understanding of what it means. It's not something I would like to do. It's something I just don't get a time to do at this moment. It is required by our Constitution. It represents the very balance of how we go out and vote and how we elect our representative. And if we can't understand that as a government, how that represents and how it empowers the community, or it deprives them of their representation and it deprives them of funds, then we understand why our system and our democracy is somewhat bankrupt because they don't understand the power of the people. So I'm hoping that they will do it as expeditiously as possible. Um, I know you guys are calling for it before the end of the year or before the next election, which I think the next municipal elections are
March,
sometime in March
March.
of next year, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
so we're hoping that, as they said, that they will do it before the 2026 concludes, that it does in fact get done. Because, as I pointed out several times already, the necessity and the fairness of it makes it a requirement under our Constitution to bring that type of balance. So, with that, I yield back and I'm looking for
Thank you.
Q&A.
Thank you very
Thank
much
you.
for your commentary, sir, and your input. I would like to take us all back to 1965. Okay,
Very way back.
as of the point of 1965, the divisions were not properly done, the apportionment was not properly done, and they haven't been done from then till today day that we are having this conversation. There have been little effort here and there, little to try and pretend that they were doing what should have been done, even though we didn't get this constitution until 81. But long before then, we have been having the same problem, which is what I'm trying to bring to the attention of the general public right now. At least as part of what I can reckon from 1965 coming forward, where we had, okay, our problem, as I think I pointed this out once before, but I'm going to say it again. Our problem in doing our redivisioning and our reapportionment is that it has always been done historically from a district perspective. That is, we have 6 districts in the country, and the election and boundary decide how many how many divisions each district is going to have. And every once in a while, they make changes, but they don't make the changes the way it's supposed to be made in order to comply with what was right. When we got our independence constitution, it was put in the constitution, mandated for them to do what was right and to follow the constitution. So everybody expected that, we would have taken care of those matters. And as of this point in time, so many years after, we shouldn't have been haggling about these same issues. We have, I think, in the mid 90s, there was an attempt. Was it the middle 90s? I think it was, yeah, middle 90s, because I think 97 is when I put out the first analysis of that division thing when I was clamoring to the election and
Shallow,
voting to
seagrass
help this
flat.
process.
Two very different feeders share the same space. A green sea turtle
Uh,
grazes
there's
steadily,
something in the
trimming the
background. I
green
don't know what it is, but
once more.
anyhow, all I'm
Just as
trying to say is that it
other
is not just today that we have this problem. We have this problem from way back even before independence, as I was pointing out earlier. And we had where we had a certain amount of divisions in certain districts. And the reason back then is that Belize had that many divisions because of being the population center back then, compared to the districts that was sparsely populated and they could have gotten by with two divisions for Stan Creek. I think it was two for Toledo. I think it was two for Corozal, if I'm remembering correctly. And I think it was three or four for, I think it was three for Orange Walk. And then Belize had, I think it was like nine. But anyhow, the bottom line is that from then till now, the population has increased massively, especially in the Cairo district and the Corozal and Orange Walk districts. It has increased in Belize, but not as much as a percentage. So what they need to do is figure out the total amount of people that are eligible to vote and factor in a number that will allow for the increase of voters between whenever they finish this exercise and when the date of the voting occurs. Because every month, I think, or every 3 months, they add people or take people off or switch people from one division to the next. And that's an ongoing process from way back 65 and before, as I was mentioning earlier. So
I
if they
think it's done in August, every August, I think.
no more often than once a year. It's done more often than once a year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But uh, what I was trying to imply though is that if they can come up with a specific number and then factor in some additional factor to compensate for what they expect will happen in terms of a change from that point cutoff point, then they can have an idea how many people they are thinking might vote in the next upcoming election, and then they can divide that by however amount of divisions that they really want to have. They can keep the 31 divisions in numbers that they have currently, but some sections or some parts, for example, will have to change. They will have to take, like they did one time, a part of Lake I I think it was Lake I, or yeah, they took a part of Lake I and put it into the constituency of Pixtac, so that Pixtac then was on both sides of the river, and I think currently is at the same time. And they did the same thing with quite a few other divisions, okay, to try and ameliorate that problem. But they never did try to solve it the way it needed to be solved. And all I'm saying right now is that it could be solved because we showed them on this particular platform earlier how easy it is for them to do the whole thing. And it takes somewhere between 3 to 5 minutes per division, which means that it doesn't take more than a day work on the part of a technician and a statistician. It could be done. So when these guys are talking about 2 years more for them to get it done from the time they made the last promise, they're just being obstinate, hard up, and they just don't want to do what they need to be doing. And because nobody can physically take their hands and make them do what they need to do, they just keep playing the fool. If their salary was to be docked as part of the work that they're not doing, then maybe that would help a little bit too. But I yield back, Mr. Wade. You have another comment? The chairman
Yes.
apparently ready. He can bring himself in.
A while back, a while back I was talking about, my observation in the nation of Belize, right?
Mhm.
I I am originally from the deep south, right?
Mhm.
Punta Gorda, PG. Born in one of the villages, uh, 17 and a half miles from PG town, a little village that we named Cricket Arena. However, I came up with that name, but that is no longer. That village was on the British map.
Mhm.
Now the Belize map does not have my village anymore. And then I watched, for some years now, guys, I watch, villages keep popping up in the
Mhm.
south,
Mhm.
right? I watch when the UDP in power, how they, bring these villages together, and they're not village, my people, but at home or abroad, they are not village with born Belizean.
Mm-hmm.
They are not villages. Most of them is not being drawn out with born Belizean. So right now, the guy Martinez, he's putting villages and this PUP uh, uh, um, government right now. Villages have been popping up in the south like could
I
never
think,
imagine.
Mr. Wade, I think there was a village there in the south where this gentleman have his headquarters. That is, I think, bigger than PG now. Not
Yeah,
PG. Yeah,
yeah,
bigger than PG.
yes, pretty
I
much,
forgot the
right?
name of the village, but I mean that is
Trio or one of them. Please.
and that is the only
But
one.
anyway, in the southern road there, this guy here, I think when he migrated from Honduras, that's where he ended up cutting with his family in the banana industry. This guy
Mm-hmm.
Martinez, right?
Mm-hmm.
So of course he's gonna, put all the efforts in his village, right? But I will say no more on that because I have talked a little about that already. But the chairman is here, so I'll pass over to the chairman.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wade. Are you, Mr.
Good
Chair?
night, gentlemen.
Good night, sir.
It's always a pleasure sitting with you guys virtually. I want to say good night to the people at home and abroad. Welcome you to this 428th episode of BELIZEN.
Thank you.
Okay, gentlemen, I was in the background. I was listening to your talk about the CCJ ruling and the discussion you guys were having. I want to go back to a state with Mr. Enrique to hear what he has said. Since you guys had started with the redistricting, I want to do some clarification on that matter to proceed this show. So let's hear what Mr. Enrique had to say.
The Court of Appeal struck out and dismissed all the appeals we filed. We filed an appeal against the refusal to grant the injunction. We filed an appeal against the wasted cost order. And we filed an appeal against the judgment he delivered in the bias application without giving anyone an opportunity to be heard. The Court of Appeal struck off all three on technical grounds raised by the attorneys representing the Attorney General and the Election and Boundaries Commission. It was in those circumstances we immediately had no choice but to appeal to the Caribbean Court of Justice. We applied for special leave, and to our great surprise and delight, the Caribbean Court of Justice said that they will treat the applications for special leave as the hearing of the appeal on an urgent basis. Those appeals were heard. Mr. Peter Knox, King's Counsel from the English Bar, represented me in the wasted cost order appeal, and I represented Mr. Enriquez in the other two appeals. Today, I'm pleased to announce that mere weeks after the hearing, the Caribbean Court of Justice has issued orders allowing two of the appeals. They have allowed the appeal with respect to the refusal to grant the injunction, and they have allowed the appeal with respect to the wasted cost order imposed against me. The appeal in respect of the bias matter, they have remitted that to the judge for him to decide.
Gentlemen, I want to say I have sat on this platform and we had the open discussion on these matters. And I mentioned that if this went to the CCJ, if it went to the CCJ, they will overrule it. So I want to go to you first, Mr. Wade, and that.
I had I state my, stay on that. And, as for me, you know, I would like, you know, to see justice in terms of Mr. Enrique's situation. And for the record, we had retained my group also had retained Mr. Ram Logan. He had offered to help us, right, in our fight also, right? So for the record, I think it's the first time I'm saying that, right? And our matter and Mr. Enrique's matter is similar, right? And what I would like to see done is that we put it all in one package, because it's it's of similar interests. But we'll wait and see on that, how that play out. It's a long process, Mr. Chairman, and guys, it's a long process. But like I say, I would like to see to the end, right, and see, so that the world and the Belizean people could see the wickedness, that has been portrayed about on them for so many years, and it will all play out. Um, Personally, I would like my day in court to state the way I feel, right, and what I know. I would like to be given that opportunity, right? So I'll not say much on that, but
Thank you,
but
Mr. Wade. I want to say this. The question within these redistricting trials was if the case was justiciable or justiciability. And as I watch these cases proceeding, I can see what the opposing attorney, the government attorney, had in mind when he presented them. As anyone who look at the case can see, he turned them into what is called a political question to make the ruling judge unable to make a decision on them. And that is what happened, Mr. Wade, when they came and say you are bringing back a case that was presented before, as in the past redistricting case, and you see also as in Mr. Enrique's case. What was said about this case is that he is filing an injunction to stop the election when that phrase and sentence was never a part of what was filed in the injunction. Those words came from the government attorney. So we are where we are today. And now we must see how will this redistricting take place. Mr. Morrison, I go to you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Brackett. Good evening. You know, gathering everything that's been said, I believe, if our democracy is to mean anything, and we do want it to mean, I do believe our government wants, when they stand up in international forum and say, Belize is a democracy, we are democratically elected, that that it means something to them, that they're standing on some principles. And so we need to make sure that the availability of how we constitute our democracy, that it is truly forward thinking, and it's really moving and representative of what a democracy is supposed to be. That is, that it treats its citizens equally and fairly. And when it fails to do that, it is hard to say that we have a democracy. We have something. We go to the polls and we elect someone, but if we're not doing it, if it is not structured so that the individuals and the citizens cannot have equal and fair representation, then it is definitely not a full democracy. So I'm hoping that the government will get this in their head and that they will, in fact, practice what would be a full open democracy that allows the citizens to participate fully and allows them to have equal representation. Because this goes into more than just, as I was saying earlier, representation. It goes into how um, funds are allocated for constituents based on the population. And so if you have one constituency that has 10,000 and another one that has 2,000, then it's a total disservice to those that are in the larger one that's three times as large or four times as large or five times as large as the other constituencies. So it follows through that they need to make and take this seriously, take whatever step and make this serious so that we do correct this injustice and we do bring our democracy and regularize it so that it is representative and truly provides the representation for the people that is necessary and that are our citizens. And I know you mentioned that often at times our democracy falters in many ways because we have allowed so many people that should not under our constitution qualify for citizenship because of their country's claim to our country, Belize, and this is uh, Honduras and Guatemala,
Mhm.
and yet we fail to stand by the very principles of our constitution, and therefore we more compromise ourselves and the country, and we cause great hardship and suffering for our people in so doing. So back to you, Mr. Brackett. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Morrison. I go to you, Mr. Brackett.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Morrison, for your lucid commentary as well. Um, part of the issue that we have is that we're not dealing with honest people or people who have fidelity to the Constitution and or who have the people's goodwill at heart. We are dealing with a basic human construct. That is to say, most individuals have this idea, especially politicians, that because in order for you to be a politician, you have to be an, an egoist, a self-centered person, and somebody who somehow or another have to have an attitude of dismissiveness to the people, the very people who you go and ask to vote for you, and who then vote for you and put you in office on the promises that you made, and then you treat them with such level of disdain and dismissiveness. You have to have some kind of extra something other than a regular person. But as a human construct, it shouldn't be too hard for our politicians to do what right on behalf of the country and its people so that people can trust them, believe in them, and keep supporting them. But from Independence days, and maybe even before Independence Day, but I'll go as from Independence Day till today day, we have had a constant flow of politicians entering into the fray. They become elected, they become the government, and they abuse the power vested in them and powers that are not vested in them to mistreat the people and to relate to us with that level of disdain, as I said earlier. And it seemed like every successive government from independence there till now has acted more onerous than the one before it. They know the reasons why the previous ones were kicked out, but so long as they win the election, they have this impression that to the victors go the spoil, and the spoil is our patrimony. So they take our patrimony and do what they want for themselves and their cronies and families and friends, and others who would suborn them with a little something on the side. And to me, even some of them operate in our country as if they are foreign agents. They don't operate as if they're trying to gain the trust of the people and work on behalf of the people, which is what the Constitution is all about. So as far as I'm concerned, if we have our leaders misbehaving and we the people keep re-electing them, then we the people have to carry a little bit of that burden. It can't be said that these politicians are so onerous and we are the ones that are actually electing them, because they depend on our votes. Are you back, Mr. Chairman?
Mr. Chairman, can you give me a minute?
Go ahead, sir.
You know, my fear, right, is that, you know, the word equal or near as equal, this People's United Party will come up and say, yes, well, we did our redistricting, and these are the numbers, and this is what we come up with. And it's near as equal. So my thing is, what will be their near as equal, right? What will be their near as equal?
Well,
so I could see this. I could see it that is not going to be onerous. These guys, you know, like you says, Leonard, you know, they will do whatever it takes to hold on, right? To hold on to their seats and their powers, and, you know, gerrymandering round and around the constituencies and say, yes, we did it. Go back to the court and says we did it. But I could say this, that if we, the Belize Peace Movement, is not satisfied with that equal or near as equal, we'll go back to the court. We will go back to the court, right? Because their near as equal or equal might not be what we think or what we, you know, are looking at as equal or near as equal. So I'm just putting that out there, right?
The number is about 6,000 plus, Mr. Wade.
So, Mr. Chairman, thank you. All right, you know, Mr. Chairman, just for public consumption, right? That word equal or near as equal, we are looking hard on that. How they see that, how these People's United Party will see that.
I want to say this, gentlemen, and people at home and abroad. Again, here and Belizean affairs, we show and tell. And again, I want to say, I have said it the last time we were on this show talking about redistricting. It is my belief that the redistricting will not take place. And there's a reason why I am saying this. But let's go to it.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister John Brackett is brushing off the Caribbean Court of Justice's latest ruling in the Jeremy Enriquez redistricting case, calling it mostly academic at this stage. The CCJ reaffirmed that Belize's electoral boundaries urgently need updating, an issue tied up in lawsuits and public debate for years. But Brackett says the government is already moving. He notes that the redistricting effort is underway, with a key review meeting set for next week as the administration pushes to meet its own end-of-year deadline.
The CCJ ruling on the Jeremy Enriquez case in terms of the redistricting, is it a moot point because the government is already planning to proceed with that?
Well, I have not seen the report, but I think it's at this point. You're right. It's moot because we are already working on the redistricting, and I'm still pushing. I should have a meeting with Minister Musa on Monday to get an update as to how is it going, so that we can ensure that we can keep our timeline. That we hope that can be in place by the end of this year.
We also heard from
Mr. Chairman.
No,
They have always have a timeline, but it has never come to fruition. It's always in the future. It never comes present. I yield back, sir. Sorry for interrupting.
no, thank you, Mr. Brackett.
Welcome, sir.
People at home and abroad and gentlemen. The Prime Minister is saying because they have started, it is moot. I want to say personally, it is not moot. And I will explain why a bit later, but let me put this out there. If you started it, it does not make a case become moot unless you have finished it. So I want the people at home and abroad to know that, gentlemen, starting it does not make the case become moot. It becomes moot if you have carried out the responsibilities of completing it. But we need to listen to the creators because that is their intention. That if they are taken back to court, they will say to the judge, well, we are doing it. So that is why we should not be here because we are fulfilling the obligation. But I will show why tonight. Go ahead, Mr. Brackett.
Sir, that is the same thing that they told Judge Navy in the first case, that they were going to go ahead. That's why they asked Judge Navy not to make her ruling, which she should have done. But she encouraged the plaintiff them in that particular first case to accept the government's good faith of wanting to go ahead and get it done since they weren't being sued for nothing other than to get it done. But the problem is it will not be moot unless they complete the exercise as prescribed by the Constitution. They can do whatever they have done like they did before and do again 1,000 different times in a cycle. And all of it can be ruled by any judge in the future as not having complied with and or having it been done. Therefore, it is never moot until the effort is completed as prescribed by the Constitution, nearly as equal. It does not mean 2,000 for one and 10,000 for the other. That cannot be accepted as nearly as equal. But they got to bring that number as close as possible to that 6,000 plus, which is what we had calculated at one point. It was about 6,000 and something, a few hundred, 6,000 a few hundred. If they're going to do it exactly, each 31 division going to have the same amount of people. It is quite likely that they will not have 31 divisions when this exercise is completed. They will either have 33 or they'll have 29. But they cannot end up the same place where they started out from unless they're just going to shift the numbers around into the existing 31 division. And that will cause them to have to violate their basic rule, which is first they divide by districts, and then within districts by division. The only way they can get it as close as the 6,000 is to make all of them almost the same numbers. You get a median number, and you put everything else into other different divisions until you get it worked out. It's not hard to be done. It's computerized. But I yield up, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Brackett. You said a mouthful, sir. That is exactly why I am specifying that what they will do is exactly what I said. So now the question becomes, if the Prime Minister is saying that it is moot because they have started to proceed it in doing it, and they intend to finish by the end of the year, meaning they want to finish before municipal elections come about. If they are not finished, the question is, can they proceed into another election? May it be municipal or general?
They will,
That's
Mr.
the
Chairman. They will.
question. That is the question that should be answered. But based on what the Prime Minister said, he had already spoke to Mr. Musa. If at home and abroad, I want you to listen to the tape carefully to what Mr. Musa had to
Mr.
say.
Chairman, I don't think Mr. Morrison had a chance to win. I don't know if
Mr. Morrison
He's
is
on
on
the
the
phone
phone,
here.
sir.
He's on the phone.
Okay. Go
So
ahead.
let's go to the tape.
The ongoing redivision of electoral boundaries remains one of the most important undertakings at this time. This exercise reviews and updates constituency boundaries to reflect changes in population and settlement patterns across the country. It involves data analysis, mapping and consultation to ensure that electoral divisions are properly structured and administratively sound. This work continues with careful attention as it directly shapes how representation is organized across Belize. In preparation for the 2027 March municipal elections, the department continues to coordinate and deliver the systems required for a smooth and credible process. Each phase of election readiness receives focused attention to ensure that Belizeans participate in an environment that is orderly, transparent, and accessible. Mr. Speaker, this renewed mandate has now been issued by the Prime Minister, and the Election and Boundaries Commission is committed to completing this exercise of the 31 divisions by the end of this year.
Now you heard it, gentlemen. 31 divisions by the end of this year. That is a unconstitutional redistricting. Belize cannot have 31 divisions. Mr. Brackett.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. In the first place, as I said, they can get away with keeping the 31 division, but they will violate the basic principle from where the divisions started being considered. That is, they start first from a district perspective. So some people in Cairo district might end up in Toledo district, or some people in Cairo district might end up in Stan Creek district, or some people in in Cairo district might have to end up in Orange Walk district, some northern part, and so on and so forth. That's the only way they're going to be able to keep the 31 divisions. And some people in Belize will have to observe, for example, Fort George will have to observe people from Tikaka to help them with their numbers. And then they will, first of all, have to give up two divisions in Belize City itself, so that they can consolidate four of those divisions into two separate divisions and transfer two of those divisions, one to Cayo and one to Sand Creek. And even at that, you will still have a violation of the district-wide numbers that they'll have, because Toledo will still have more than 12,000 people to vote.
So
you have to have more than two divisions up there.
Yeah. That's why I said that Belize district. I know you're thinking two, but I'm thinking Belize district. Mr. Brackett would lose like 3 constituencies to make it sort of balance out.
If you're going to do it right, that's how it's going to end up being. And I don't have a problem with that. Just do it right.
Yeah, and it does kind of goes against some of the beliefs I have in that there again they're weakening the Creole's
By design.
presence.
That's by design.
It's probably a reality of the population that we're seeing in play, and the placement of where people are in these northern and southern regions of the country. So
Mr. Morrison, that's why I mentioned the villages that keep popping up across this country. The west by design and the south by design. Every so often there's a new village pop up, new village, new village, new village. Right? So they're thinking. Sorry about that to cut you off on your. Go ahead.
No. I hear your point, and I'll introduce that. I believe that, as the population in those areas grow, they try to keep village to a certain size so that it's manageable. That's why I think they keep increasing the number of villages.
That would be a good idea, but that's not what they're working at.
Well, yeah. Let me finish.
Mr. Brackett.
Interject.
I was going to say, Mr. Wade could give you the facts on what I'm saying there just now, because
no, that's fine. That's fine. So the villages are kind of representative of how they want to manage small local communities. The change they need to make is to do it constitutionally and do it consistently, not just where it has political favor to sort of give them overall majority of saying we won so many village councils. I wish they would do it in a constitutional way that represents the interests of those people in those villages and the community, rather than to try and create political showboat. And I'm hoping that as we move forward in trying to get this constituency and re-registration and the proper allocation, that, like Mr. Brackett will say, they will do it properly. They will not go about still having these gross imbalances. I know you'll never get a total balance, but I think if you're within 1,000, 1,500 to another space, you're probably doing a good job, and you're probably capturing the essence and the legal profile of what the Constitution output would expect. But when you have 3,000, 5,000 difference in and so then you're totally violating in every way the spirit and the law as it relates to our Constitution and the representative rights of the citizens of those divisions that are oversized and giving undue presence and representation to those that are so grossly undersized. So thank you again.
Thank you, Mr. Morrison. But again, I want to say this redistricting will be unconstitutional. I will say it again to you, the people at home and abroad. This redistricting will be unconstitutional, and it cannot be finished by the end of the year. You guys will remember what I am saying, and I'm not just saying it just like that. If you want to know why I'm saying it, I will show the proof tonight right here on this show.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
I would like to stipulate, based on what the good gentleman, Mr. Karim Musa, alluded to, I would like to stipulate that whether they get it done or not, at the end of the day, the bigger agenda will not be about completing the exercise the way it's supposed to be done. The bigger agenda is about gerrymandering, which is their objective right now, to make sure that they can guarantee whatever amount of districts or divisions comes out of this process, and however the people are dispersed or shared up, or the end result for them, why they are taking so long and will take additional more time, is because they have been working on that for many more months before today. What he is stipulating there is on the basis of what they have been involved with behind the scene for a long period of time.
Mr. Brackett,
They're trying to do the gerrymandering, which has to come after they figure out how much people are available for voting.
Mr. Brackett, I hate to tell you this, sir. I don't care if the government jump high or low. I'm saying it again. The redistricting will be unconstitutional and they have no intent to do it. They are putting that out there not to be dragged back in the court and fail at doing the redistricting. That is why the Prime Minister is saying the case is moot, because they are doing it. But anybody who reads the Constitution like you, Mr. Brackett, and myself would know that they cannot do it. Sir, could you go to section 90, please? Because I will show you why.
Section what?
In the meanwhile, I will play
90.
it here. Section 90 of the Constitution.
Any subsection?
Go to section 90. I will tell you in a minute. I want you to also read it. Listen to the safe gentlemen and people at home and abroad.
Well, I don't think that redistricting would have been effected before the case can be determined. The case would probably be determined first. But if the object of the case, and we're not the claimants, I represent an interested party, was to provoke and encourage the government to embark upon redistricting, clearly some of that provocation is no longer required, given that they say that they will do it. But in terms of the timing of it, in terms of creating an urgency for it to be done, it might still have its value. There is a tendency always to, the redistricting exercise will result in fundamental changes, in that just a basic analysis of the numbers and the demographics as they exist in Belize, as the independent expert report shows that in Belize City there's 4 too many, in Cayo there's 2 too little, Orange Walk 1 too little, and between Stan Creek and Toledo they're also 1 short. So you need to reduce Belize district by 4. 1 goes to Orange Walk, 2 goes to Cayo, and 1 goes in between Toledo and Stan Creek.
Oh, you listen to that, gentlemen?
That's what I had
And
stipulated.
independent session for them. You must reduce Belize by 4 and other parts of the other districts. So when the good Mr. Musa speaking about 31, we already know what they're doing. As I said, they are doing it so that if they go back to the court, they will say, oh no, we are in the process of doing it. That is why the Prime Minister is calling it moot. But in regards to the Constitution and Section 90, because this is where I want to show the proof. Section 90 specifically says that in order to do the redistricting, the whole population of the country of Belize must be included, and the only way you can get that done is by a census. And a census cannot be done to do redistricting by the end of the year. Did you find that, Mr. Brackett?
Yes, sir.
Can you read it?
Section 90 of the Constitution of Belize, subsection 1, reads as follows. The Election and Boundaries Commission shall, after considering the electoral distribution of the population throughout Belize, comma, make proposals from time to time for dividing Belize into electoral divisions in such a way that, for example, in paragraph A, each electoral division shall have as nearly as may be an equal number of eligible voters or votes. And
Stop
as
right there, Mr. Brackett.
yes, sir,
What did it say? Shall. You heard it, gentlemen and people at home and abroad.
it's a
The
command.
word shall is
It's a mandamos
exactly.
to compel.
So what they are saying is total and truthful. It is untruthful. They cannot finish the redistricting by the end of the year. They're taking the Belizean people for fools. And that is what their intention are. Because that is what they will present to the court to say, oh no, we are doing it when they know they have no intention of doing it. And I
Mr.
will take it further than that.
Sorry.
Because what I always say, these people do what?
Tell on themselves.
Tell on themselves. Go ahead, Mr. Brackett.
I just want to elucidate on another specific technical point, and that is that, as I pointed out the last time we had this conversation, when someone on the panel had alluded to the idea that we needed to have census, and census are only done every 10 years. They're not done willy-nilly in between, like every 2-3 years for town board elections, or they're done on a mandated basis every 10 years. But in some instances, they had failed to have those 10-year cycles as a part of the census. But that is not the point. My point is that based on the electoral process, people become electors voluntarily. Remember, in 1956, we had our, what they call it, something about adult suffrage, right?
That is correct.
And on that basis, everybody was entitled to register who were eligible or who have met the age of voting registration requirements under the Representation of the People's Act. Once you reach the majority age, back then it used to be, I think, 21, now it's 18. You are entitled to go and register if you want to vote or if you want to participate. You're not mandated to go and register and become a voter. That's a choice. That's a personal choice.
Exactly, Mr. Brackett. I want to say this.
Yeah,
I see where you are going.
No, I'm trying to clarify something for the general
right,
public.
And that is why I'm
very
picking
important.
it up from you.
Yes, but let me finish the thought then, sir.
Even though it is not mandated that you must do that, Section 90 specifies the whole population and it must be divided through a census. So when you divide that and you are in a division,
I was trying to
if you
explain.
don't want to go vote, you don't have to register, but you must be a part of those divisions.
That's correct. That's correct. That's correct. That the census. Let me finish, Mr. Brackett, because you were running on. The census is the guide to determine how we divide our constituency.
That is correct,
so, based on the population of each district, they are going to be allocated so many constituency representatives for that division, for that
Hold on, Mr. Brackett, hold on.
But for that district.
We are going down a rabbit hole, and I'm trying.
No, sir. No, sir. Wait a minute. Let him finish, sir.
Finish off what I was trying to say, so I mean, understand the difference.
No, sir. We
No,
are not going to
because
do that. Just hold
you
on.
keep telling me, Mr. Brackett, that the census, that the constituency is based on
Election and Boundaries Department does not have to use no census to determine who is a voter, who gets the vote.
But that has nothing to do with
That's
how they
nothing to
create
do with the.
constituency. That has nothing to do with constituency. The constituency is based on total population,
Census, and it has to
division
be
of the
equal.
population. That is how you determine. That is how you determine how many constituencies you have. It has nothing to do with who's a registered voter, who wants to register for voting. It has to do with the population. So if Corozal has a larger population, then
Hold on a second, Mr. Brackett.
they are
Hold on.
entitled to a proportion of the total division of the constituents that make up the whole. I yield back.
You can spend
Thank you, Mr. Morrison.
You can spend a whole year repeating the same thing, and if you
No,
don't,
we are not.
let me
Hold on a
let me
second.
get the word out of my mouth. Stop cutting me across, or cutting me off, or cutting me down. Listen to what I'm saying and figure out whether it makes sense. And if it doesn't, check your facts and go back and learn what you need to know. Because the reference that you guys are making is incorrect.
You read the Constitution, sir. You read the Constitution.
Mr. Morrison, just let me finish say what I'm trying to say, sir. Please. That's all I'm asking for.
Okay, sir, please.
I'm saying that the way the election and boundaries process, procedures, and protocols are, is that they, before an election, and like I said earlier, every so often, I don't recall exactly right now how often, whether it's a monthly or a few months or 6 months, but every so often when there's an opening for people to be registered, they accept registration of people who wish to be registered for voting. They compile a list of the people who qualify and have been registered, both male and female, and then in each district, because you can get that information, you can go on the internet.
Sir, I'm not contesting that.
No, yet let me finish though. I'm trying to explain to you that the way it's done and the way you guys are saying it ought to be done, there are two different things. I'm not arguing that it could not be done how you guys are saying that it could be done. I'm trying to elucidate the fact that currently the way the process works is
unconstitutional.
Exactly. If they're doing it the way you're saying, Mr. Brackett, then it's unconstitutional. I agree with Mr. Gregory Brackett. You read the Constitution. It tells you that
it's nothing. We're not even talking about the Constitution. We're talking about.
But that's the main part of it, sir.
And I'm trying to say to you that it does not take no census data for them to do their work, because they don't depend on census data.
So let me ask you a question, Mr. Brackett.
You don't know what you're talking about.
If it don't take no census data, are you willing to tell me, as an individual who studied the Constitution, you willing to go against Section 90? Let me hear that from you, because that's what you are trying to tell me.
Sir, do you know what Section 90 is saying here, or what it's talking about?
Let me explain it to you before you say anything. Let me put it to the people in layman's terms.
No.
Let me put it to the people in layman's terms.
But you don't make an answer your question.
I will tell you what it is saying, then you can come back. I'm not going to be argumentative.
No,
what Section 90 is saying.
We're having a discussion, right?
Right.
So go ahead.
If what Section 90 is saying, people at home and abroad, if we have 20 different parts of Belize after census, each with 500, if 200 people out of every one of them want to register to vote, that is constitutional. It has nothing to do with what the election and boundaries want to do or not.
I'm going to try again. If you allow me to, I'm going to try again. For clarity and elucidation, the work of the Election and Boundaries Department can be done in multiple different ways. Okay?
I don't know why you're bringing in election and boundaries. They
Mr.
have
Morrison,
nothing to
Mr.
do.
Morrison,
They have
Mr.
nothing to
Morrison,
do.
I want to finish the statement, sir, please. Every time when I do that, all it does
No, but
is make it
sir,
sound
you're
like
bringing in
all the
election
time
and
when I do that,
boundaries. They do
you're
not
the
set
arguing
the
over me right now. You're the talk
constituents.
over me right now. I try to finish the
Sir,
statement.
sir,
And then
all they
it
do,
sounds
no, because
argumentative.
all they do is
Because you're
administer
just
it,
arguing and you're not letting me
administer
finish my point.
election and make sure
Yes,
that
but what you're saying doesn't make no sense in the context of how the process works. If I
no, it makes
need to
every
say it like that,
sense.
maybe that
Does the
another
election
I need
and
to do.
boundaries set the
But it's gonna make
constituent?
no sense in context of
No,
how
no,
the
no.
process
Stop
works.
for a moment. Answer this
That might
question.
be your
Answer
wish.
this question.
No, no,
Answer
no,
this
no, no, no.
question.
I have other points that I'm trying to establish. I can't add up so many different points one after the other and evade the points that was
But
established. The point
you
was
have
established,
something in your head that is not the Constitution, and you are a
sir.
constitutionalist. I don't understand
No,
why you pushing that
let me explain.
the
Let me explain what Gregory was trying to say just now in context of what the Constitution is referring to. The Constitution is referring to
no the,
all the. Let me finish, please. Holy Toledo.
Let him finish, Mr. Morrison. You have 5 minutes.
What? Look, I don't want to read it because I want to read it as a full page. Give me a second. Man. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I didn't want to lose it. I'm happy I didn't lose it. Let me explain in a simpler way then. Maybe the way I'm saying it doesn't, you guys are not grasping what I'm trying to say. Let me say it a different way. Hopefully, I may achieve the objective. Election and boundaries collects registered people who are intending to vote. They do not collect people whose information they are not interested in voting. You have to volunteer yourself to go and register. They don't come and register you because you're living in a certain area. Like what they do when they come and do the census, they register you as a part of the census taking process. Those are two different mechanisms, two different processes. I'm not saying that you can't use the same information to achieve the other objective, but they're two different processes. And unless you understand that, you can't start off at first base, you can't get to home run because you don't understand the first basics.
Mr. Brackett, can I say something?
Let me finish because I said all of that and I still haven't said what I was trying to say from the very
But
beginning.
what you are trying to say here is not making no sense, sir.
Because you're not listening. Or maybe
I
you don't
don't
really
want
understand.
to listen because you are not
That's
making
the problem. You don't want to listen. And therefore you don't understand. And I'm trying to say the same thing a million different ways. And I still not to get nowhere because all you are interested in is arguing against what I'm saying because you're trying to pretend that, well, what I'm saying shouldn't make no sense.
Mr. Brackett, I'm going to end that right there. I'm going to the tape.
I think it's important to understand that they were operating on insufficient information. Critical, Section 90 of the Constitution says very clearly that they are to look at the total population, the population throughout the country. The only way to do that effectively is to look at the census. The census has not come out yet. So I think it was important that they received the census information rather than utilizing a census done in 2010 and just looking at population growth, a projected or assumed population growth from 2010, but actually look at the census because it not only tells you the total population, but it also shows you population trends. Where are people going into the rural areas, into the urban areas, which areas, the types of buildings, the types of construction that are going on in those different areas. We see a trend in Belize City and Belmopan, San Pedro, where you're not seeing single dwelling homes anymore. You're seeing apartment buildings being built. So whereas you might have had one family registered in an address, now you might be having 5, 6, 7 families registered in that same address because it's an apartment building. But that information is critical for any task force and for the commission to carry out a proper boundaries exercise. Also, areas of those particular sections in the Constitution, 89, 90, and 91, there's some confusion there. 89 was amended back in, I believe, 2000 and probably when the last redistricting was done, to say that there will be 31 constituencies. Further on in section 90, it says there may be between 28 and 31. I mean, there's a conflict, there's misunderstanding there. Those sections need to be looked at. Those sections need to be properly analyzed. There has to be clear instructions given to the Election and Boundaries Commission for them to carry out their work.
Mr. Brackett, that's one time
the man the bullcrap
let me
everybody.
say one thing.
Say
one thing and I'll
everybody.
not say
Especially
anything
because
else.
they don't know what he's talking about. Okay? He's bullcrapping everybody. Okay? Because in the first place, they are trying to back into the idea that they need to have a census. Why is it that they haven't been able to come to do this stuff from the very beginning? And if they can, because that's going to be the thing that they will use to say, because we haven't had a census, why
but that
they
doesn't have
this thing
anything to
done
do with
right
what's
here.
legally required. It's legally required that you have a census so that you can have the proper population count, so that you can make the proper division. This is one time I agree with Henry Charles.
It is not true, sir.
It is the perfect truth, and it is the Constitution.
The man is talking about section, the other sections that are in conflict.
The 89 and 90.
Not in conflict. He's trying to make it sound like there's a conflict. Because you don't know your ass from your elbow.
Oh, come on, Mr.
So you are telling me the Constitution is wrong? I am sure
I'm not telling you that.
Right, and
I'm not telling you that. Don't try to put that kind of word in my mouth, because I did not say anything like that.
Well, that's
I'm
what
trying to tell you
are trying to do.
No. But that's what you are believing, because you're not listening. If you don't listen, you don't know.
The Constitution says you must first have a census or know what the accurate
You never said
population.
about nothing about no census, sir. You guys are
does,
laughing.
Mr. Brackett.
It did not say that.
Mr. Brackett, I am not going to argue all that. All I'm going to say is that to have a proper constituency, you need to know what the total population is of the country and of those individual districts, and then you make a division to create the number of constituencies you need based on population, not based on elected, not based on registered voters, based on the population of that.
What you're saying is not correct. It might be an ideal situation.
No, sir.
Let me read this up for you. Let me read and explain to you.
Mr. Brackett.
Section 90 says, so section 1, the following: the Elections and Boundaries Commission shall, after considering the electoral distribution of the population, the electoral division.
The operative words of the population, Mr. Brackett.
Listen, throughout Belize, what it's talking about there is the compilation of all the registered voters.
No. That's not what it says. That's not what it's talking about. Population is population, Mr. Brackett. That's your
population. Electoral population.
No, it didn't say that.
About no census.
No, it didn't say that, Mr. Brackett. Mr. Brackett, it doesn't say that.
The census takes into consideration
gentlemen,
human beings in the
can I
country.
say something? Gentlemen,
People
can I
that can
say
vote
something?
and people that can't vote. The youth.
Gentlemen, can I say something?
Stop conflict. Go ahead, sir.
Gentlemen, if I personally was to believe what you are saying to me, Mr. Brackett, I would have to say in every division at present, the electors are statistics and not dynamic. If you understand what I'm saying. Because I'm sure all constituency is dynamic because they change.
You ask me the question, please. I'll give you the answer then, right? Each division, okay, has registered voters in there, as well as people who are not registered for whatever reason why they are not registered. When the Election and Boundaries makes its statistics and compile and uses its numbers, it's using those who are registered. It's not using, for example, it has no need. It has no
boundaries. Does not create constituents.
Word out of my mouth. It has the Election and Boundary has no use for babies, toddlers.
We know that. We know that they do not create constituents.
They are part of the census, sir. They are part of the census. Do not conflict, and which is why
no, sir. Don't tell me that.
You have to understand the
Mr. Wade, you're so quiet again.
I used to Mr. Wade. Go ahead, Mr. Wade. Let me change the subject.
But the need for learn one and don't know about. I don't want to speak to one and don't know what. And unless you learn and understand what is behind the process, you will continue to repeat the same mistake over and over.
Mr. Brackett,
The minister just now,
sir.
is bull cropping people, and most of the
No,
people
let me ask you an
the difference.
excuse.
They
Let
don't
me
know
ask
that
you an
they have been
excuse.
bull cropped.
I will say it again for clarity. If Belize has 50 constituencies, it has to be equal. And if in those 50 constituencies there is 200 people, if 20 want to vote for me or 50, that is okay per the Constitution.
And you're
If
thinking that I'm going to have an
constitutionally,
argument with you on
they
those.
are equal.
Greg, Mr. Chairman, and you are going to think that I'm supposed to have an argument with you on that point that you just brought up. Come on, man. Come on. Sorry, I've been doing these things. I've been involved in these things like
Mr. Brackett,
from 1965.
Well, you're missing the
From
bracket here,
1965, I
Mr.
know
Brackett.
the ins and the outs of the whole process. I did deal with these things back and forward.
Well,
And not just today
somehow
or
you got
yesterday,
something
but always
planted
something
on
I
you
get emotional about because I
Let
like
me
it.
go to Mr. Wade, because if I continue listening to it, I will believe we don't have a democratic
But
constitution
anyway,
and
exactly.
Section
Yeah.
90 is wrong.
Okay. Okay. My take on that, Mr. Morrison, I'm with you. You know, you to do redistricting, you need to get the census done. Right? That's my take on that. To do redistricting.
And that's why
No. You had your turn.
That's why it not happen. Because I always said I need a census, and it's not really happen. You know, keep on getting taken.
So let's see how they're gonna come up with that, Mr. Morrison, right?
Yes.
To get that, to get that census done. They go around, you know. They go around. They say they're walking around taking census. You know, they want to know how much people live in your house and how old them and where you get your money from and all kinds of good questions they're asking you because you know I've been through that. They did one not too long ago, like maybe a year ago, right? In the West. And you know, they didn't like more driving on if you're a voter, right? So, you know, you could got 10 people live at a location. The 10 of them might not be registered voters, right? Maybe only 2 out of that, right? But that's a different mechanism, different. But to get the redistricting done, you portion off certain constituencies, the constituencies, you portion them off and you make them equal. You're not worried about voters, right? As for me, that's how I see that. You're not worried about voters. You're the worried about population. I think that's what they should be worrying about.
That's what
population, right? You compile that, and then you do your division, and then that's where you have redistricting. That's how I see that.
Electoral population is different from the general population.
Anyway, Mr. Chairman, I don't want to take up my serious.
Leonard, I don't know where you got stuck with this electoral.
Mr. Chairman. Are you going to Mr. Morrison?
Open your constitution and read it, sir. Section 90.
I read it 1,000 times, Mr. Brackett.
Well, how come maybe
you get that from?
You know they understand it then. You know they contextualize it. Because remember, lawyers go to court and argue about the same constitutional points, rebut each other, and it's the same one constitution that they argue over, and they misinterpret.
But yeah, my thing is like my concern is that equal guys or near as equal. I want to see that number, Mr. Morrison, that they are going to come up with, right?
The electoral distribution.
Back to you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Morrison, the electoral.
Thank you, Mr. Brackett. I don't know why you're making that stuff up tonight.
Sorry, I didn't hear the last thing you said.
Gentlemen.
But you know, we do need to get serious now. To get serious, I agree with all you guys. We do need to make the government accountable and to do its job, because when they fail to give us equal and fair representation, then we're denying a segment of the population their rights to proper representation. And this representation comes with funding. It comes with how money is allocated. It comes with how the proportion of area representative could advocate for that population they represent. And so when we fail to make this happen, we create a sort of imbalance and inconsistent flow of how our democracies to function. Because
Mr. Chairman, we're far beyond the 1:30, and we're getting into public that, and I'll keep on.
Okay, thank you.
No. We'll have to prepare for tonight and just write it out. No, because this subject is very salient and important, and we don't want you to get cut short. So please take back the floor, as Mr. Chairman had authorized. But I was just trying to bring to his attention that we're getting into the issue of the timing, you know. And
well, if Mr. Brackett, you'd save a lot of time if you stop arguing and telling me that it's not population.
Well, it would be nice if you would stop, cutting me off when I want to make a statement, and then.
Excuse me, gentlemen. Let me rephrase.
But I just can't let you go down the wrong lane.
No, I want to clarify.
I get filibuster often.
No, I want to clarify, especially to you. I want to rephrase the word census and replace it with the word from section 90. Entire population.
No.
I want to remove the phrase census.
Mr. Chairman, it did not say that. Mr. Chairman, we are on this show. This show is very important when it comes to credulity and credibility. It did not say the entire population. It says electoral population.
No, it doesn't say that.
Sir, it says that. It's right here in black and white. I just read it to you 3 or 4 times just now, because you was telling me that I was the one trying to say that. So I read it 3 or 4 times.
Well,
there's a difference.
What is electoral population?
I understand that we are all talking about different things, and what you guys are talking about, and I'm trying to explain to that we all know to talk about it, and we all know to say it is not correct, and we know to rebut why to say without check for yourself. And that's unfortunate, because we are supposed to be providing correct information to people. And when we fall short, then at least the least we can do is correct ourselves. And among us here, I think we have enough knowledge and wisdom and understanding to be able to know if we make a mistake, take a correction.
How does that correction in this instance go, Mr. Brackett?
The electoral distribution of the population, okay? The electoral distribution. When it refers to electoral, it means people who are registered throughout the whole country.
Mr. Morrison, they didn't say census, right?
No. And that's part of the one word could make
we have 2 different
things.
But it says we have to take.
I'm not saying, I'm giving Ali kudos. I'm not saying, from my vantage point and what I'm trying to articulate, that the census cannot be used. But it is not the census that is the basis for creating the voters list.
No, nobody's saying that.
Nobody is saying. I don't think that there.
Mr. Brackett, nobody's saying that. Nobody's saying that.
I'm saying to you that when they're talking about the total electoral
So, Mr. Brackett, Mr. Brackett, let me say something to you. Let me say one thing to you. Let me say one. Let's say, Mr. Brackett, let me say one thing. Let's say in those areas of million. Let me say one thing. Where I'll show you where the flaw in what you're saying. Let's say a group of people become Jehovah Witnesses and they move to a particular community and they don't register to vote. You're telling me that they are not entitled to representation within that constitution?
Sir, that's a canard. That's a red herring.
No. That's a specific because
that proposition that postulation is an obscenity to me. That postulation is an obscenity to me because I happen to know better. There are many Jehovah's Witness people who are not involved in politics, who don't want to be bothered, and you can't register them or you can't consider them as part of the voters pool because they don't want to be involved.
I'm not considering them as part of the voters pool because they already give up. I'm saying, are they not entitled to representation?
Gentlemen, have me an excuse. Gentlemen, have me an excuse. May I say this? Based on what you said, Mr. Morrison, they are called and decided voters, and they are also dynamic voters because they can change their mind and go register.
That's correct. And so they are entitled to constituency representation.
Exactly.
You cannot say because 5,000 of these people that live in this community is Jehovah Witness, we'll only count the 1,000 people that have registered to vote in that community, when in fact that community have 6,000 citizens.
Mr. Morrison, do you understand why is it that they have a registration list?
I want you to answer what I'm asking you.
I'm asking that question because
you're asking me an easy question.
Then you shouldn't be saying what you're saying. Other than you would be saying what you're saying and you're entitled to say it because that's a desire. We all have different desires, different wishes.
I'm not talking about desire. I'm talking about whether those people. I'm talking about whether those 5,000 people that are Jehovah Witness that lives in this community as 7,000 are entitled to representation of constituency representation.
That is not for you and I to debate or discuss or argue or conclude on because that's their personal prerogative. That's a constitutional imbued and a God-given prerogative. All the argument that you and I could have, or discussion that you and I could have about what should and shouldn't be as regards to those people, that's their prerogative. It's not for me and you to get involved with that.
Mr. Brackett, with all due respect, sir, those individuals are called and decided voters, and they are dynamic voters. They can change their mind and go register. There's nothing to stop them. That is why per population, they still must be included. It's up to them. It's not a mandama.
You're conflating. You're mixing apples and oranges, and that's part of my peeve. You're mixing apples and oranges.
Let me say this to you, sir.
They're both fruits, but they're not the same fruit.
Well, let me say this to you. Based on what you presume to know, I will respect that. But based on my belief, I will not indulge on what you're trying to put out there.
So you're entitled to that, but that doesn't change the fact.
So I want to go to Mr. Wade. Mr. Wade, let me hear you. We are getting to that point right now. In fact, we are at that point. Mr. Wade, I give you this time to express your thoughts and also the closing.
Thank you. I want Mr. Morrison to close, right? But I'll say this, that I would hope and pray that all what we are talking about here tonight, germane to the public, and see where it's necessary. See how we discussing it here, as it matters us. We're discussing it and we throwing it out there, right? Even if we have apple and oranges, right? But my thing is that I just would like to see guys, on a serious note, that this guy stop lying to the Belizean people and actually do what he says he will do, and stop kicking the ball down the road. You know, he knows what he's doing. You know, he knows that he's bamboozling the process, the public, the constitution, to achieve his agenda. But what I would like to see is that, you know, the redistricting is done before the next election, because in my personal view and involvement, that Belize has been having illegal elections, and seems that they want to have another illegal one in March. As per the constitution of Belize, in my personal view, what is going on, it's illegal based on what I understand about our constitution. And I go to Mr. Morrison to close us out, if you don't mind, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead, sir.
Thank you very much, gentlemen, for inviting me. And I just want to say that, you know, to the general public, we debate these issues and we get heated and we talk about it vigorously because we are passionate about it, and we know that within our discussion there lies the truth somewhere, and it's for you, the citizens, the people of Belize, to get acquainted with our constitution, to involve yourself in it, and have these discussions around your groups, among your friends, among your schools, among the universities or different organizations, so that we can become familiar with it and we can be clear when the government is not fulfilling its role and responsibility of adhering to the Constitution. It is only so that we learn what is going on, what the Constitution says, and what it means, and how it affects us as individuals. So I encourage everyone to get a copy of the Constitution. It's available online, and to look at it and to read it and to understand as much as you can. And where you don't have the full understanding, you get the expert advice of those that knows the Constitution and are able to share and exchange with you what it really means and how it should affect our lives. That's the purpose of a constitution. It's to empower us and to make our life better, and then generally to limit the role and imposition of government on our individual freedom and liberty in our country. So thank you and good night.
I go to you, Mr. Brackett, for a short comment. 2 minutes, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I'll just take that 2 minutes. I'll take probably about a minute and read this part of the stuff. Oh, I took out my glasses. My other glasses just, I'm sorry. I'll read the section 90 of the Constitution of Belize, and I'll read only subsection 1 because we are out of time. The Elections and Boundaries Commission shall, after considering the electoral divisions of the population, the electoral distribution of the population throughout Belize, that is registered voters, for example, they shall make proposals from time to time for the dividing of Belize into electoral divisions in such a way that, as we have discussed previously, but the key word there that needs to be understood in its own context is not just the population of the country. Okay, that's what that gentleman, the minister, when I said earlier that he didn't probably put his elbow from his butt, is because he's articulating something that wasn't right, but he's doing so in come to him in good faith, but with an agenda. Their agenda is to mislead the people and to get the people believing into the fact that they can't complete this exercise unless they take the time that they're not taking to do it, and it's going to cost them a year and a half to 2 years. That's their agenda from the very beginning. At the end of the day, the time will pass, the election will come, and Mr. Wade, you will probably be proven right. Another illegal election, but then they continue until that then they wait for the census get done. That's why the thing couldn't be done before. It's a game these guys are playing. And people are getting bamboozled by this game. Back, you know, I mean, we could have a lot of discussion on this matter. More lucid.
Yes, we will.
Thank you, Mr. Brackett.
Good night, sir. Thank you very much.
Again, people at home and abroad, I want to thank you, those who tune in, those who will listen after the show.
Nice program, Mr.
Tonight
Chairman.
was about redistricting, and I hope you at home and abroad will read the Constitution and pick up this topic heartfully and look into what is happening. Because again, whichever way it goes, and in our discussion, if Mr. Brackett is right or we are wrong or vice versa,
I have to be right, Mr. Chairman.
I want to say that if I was to believe that the redistricting will only be done by electors, then there should be no room for dynamic voters, which is highly impossible.
All they got to do is go register. That's all they got to do, go register.
At any given day, you are right, Mr. Brackett, someone can change their mind and say, I want to go register. And that is why I believe we should have equal constituencies, and those who decide they don't want to vote does not have to register. As Mr. Brackett says, it is not a mandamus. I go to you, Mr. Wade, for the closing.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's a pleasure to again sit in your company. I hope that again tonight's program, set some clarity and show the Belizean people what they should expect, right? And they could draw their own conclusion based on our conversation, and in our program, we agree to disagree. We are entitled to our own opinion, and we respect each other's opinion. On that note, Mr. Morrison, thank you for joining us. Leonard, it's always a pleasure, my brother, to sit in your company.
Before we play also, Mr. Chairman, in the interest of committee and in good faith to my other panelist colleagues on your show tonight, Mr. Chairman, I just want to point out one word that could have made the difference in terms of people understanding what is true and what could be conflated. One word, quickly. Oh man, shucks. Oh, come on now. If you take out the word electoral from section 90, exactly what you guys were advocating just now would be 100% correct. But because you was not concerned that one word and the effect of that one word, what you were saying was misleading. And that's all I was trying to do, was to, initially when the first point was brought up, the chairman, I was trying to point to the chairman that there is a deficiency there that we have to be careful that doesn't come off as being conflated. And that's all I was trying to do. Now, if you keep that word which is in there, I didn't put it in there. And I think Mr. Morrison locked into it earlier when he was saying that probably I was the one saying it. I was trying to insist that I wasn't saying it, and that's I read it 4 times. One word. If you take it out, everything that you gentlemen were saying tonight is 100% correct. But if you leave it in there as it is right now, you have to understand the context and the purpose of that one word in there. And how is it that the election and boundaries has been functioning for all these many decades? As I went back over 50 odd years, as I try to point out to you guys, I've been dealing with them. It's not that these people are right because I've been dealing with them, because they were wrong.
Mr. Brackett, you went back to it. And the one word you want to say, I will say it. Malapportion, and we are not misleading. It's the government. Mr. Wade, go ahead and do your closing.
Thank you again, for clarity. We always agree to disagree, and very healthy.
Again, Mr. Morrison, again, we look forward to have you on our show again on Wednesday. Don't forget, if you can, join us.
Thank you. Yes.
Leonard,
I'll make
look
every
forward
attempt
for.
Mr. Morrison, could you review those sections, section 90, A and B, and whatever else?
No,
Mr. Brackett, no. Let Mr. Wade do his closing. You can discuss that after the show. Go ahead, Mr. Wade.
Thank you. Again, it's a pleasure, Mr. Chairman, and nice program. Very necessary. The people, will have to appreciate, because an election is coming, and we want the same repetitious cycle, right? So lock into it, and who those who view us are viewing us now and view us a little later, do something about it. You have the powers, with you to do it. Make a phone call to your representative or to your prime minister or to your chairman or whoever. Just get involved, man, so we get this, redistricting done, and on that note, Mr. Chairman, thank you again. Thank you,
Thank you, Mr.
Morrison
Wade.
and
With that,
Leonard.
I want to say good night.